Judge even said that this was a day of resolution, not a day of closure, as these victims still have a lot more healing to do in the years to come. But each got to, if they wanted, address Jared Loughner in the courtroom today, and each did so in their own way, really illustrating their own process in healing and how they're dealing with things. Of course, no cameras are allowed in the courtroom, but we spoke with so many of the victims right outside.
What this tragedy has shown us is so much about what it means to be here, to help each other, to support one another.
With this sentencing of Jared Loughner, a chapter will close, but the book will remain open.
One of the things that we've succeeded in doing today is closing that chapter. We've had a resolution.
But I believe that I can find peace and closure in meaningful, positive action and in compassion and forgiveness.
These victims able to take back their power in the courtroom. It was emotionally exhaustive, to say the least, as each person got up. So many people waited, as Steve spoke to there. Mark Kelly speaking on behalf of Gabrielle Giffords. And I want to bring in my ABC 15 colleague, Corey Rangel. You were right there in the courtroom. We've been following this thing since the beginning. Jared Loughner, a guy that didn't think Gabby Giffords was alive. I saw his mouth come open just a little bit as he saw her for the first time since that day. But wow. It was incredibly moving.
Right, not a big reaction from him.
Right.
This is, again, the first time that he has seen her since the shooting. And Mark Kelly asked the judge specifically if he could address Jared Loughner in the courtroom, and the judge said he could. And one of the first things that Mark said was that Gabby would have given her own life to bring back any of the victims. He also made it a point to point out how Gabby's life has changed forever. He called her a people person. He said that if she had not been born with the name Gabby, she would have gotten that nickname from somebody. She just loved to talk. And then he pointed out the struggles that she now has just to deliver every sentence. Her right arm is paralyzed. She has trouble walking, and she's partially blind. Now, Mark Kelly also read from a statement. We want to bring you part of that statement. And before he read this, Mark Kelly told Loughner to pay close attention. And this is what he said. He said, "Though you are mentally ill, you are responsible for the death and hurt you inflicted upon all of us on January 8th of last year. You know this. Gabby and I know this. Everyone in this courtroom knows this. You have decades upon decades to contemplate what you did. But after today, after this moment, here and now, Gabby and I are done thinking about you." So pretty powerful words there. Now, several other victims also talked in the courtroom, including Susie Heilman. And during her remarks, she looked directly at Jared Loughner through all of her remarks. She called him out for pointing a gun at her and shooting her 3 times. She went on to say Loughner turned a civics lesson into a nightmare. You may remember Susie Heilman is the one that brought little Christina Taylor Green to the Safeway to meet Gabby Giffords. And Christina Taylor Green became the youngest victim killed in all this. Now, Heilman ended her remarks by saying she was going to walk out of the courtroom and into the rest of her life. We caught up with her after court. Take a listen.
This chapter of it is over. I'm still limping. I'm still missing Christina. But I'm here. I'm outside and I'm walking away from this. And now I'm done. And I don't have to think about him anymore.
And also, during her comments, Susie Heilman said at one point she wanted to grab Jared Loughner by the shoulders and shake him, but obviously had to restrain herself. Just shows the frustration that, you know, they've had for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, and don't you think the bravery to get up there and confront the person who tried to take their life?
Absolutely. It was just remarkable to hear them talk. They were well poised, very emotional, and, you know, it was too bad cameras weren't in there to capture all the emotion.
Yeah, and I wonder if we'll see some of those changes in the future. One of the changes today, you and I were able to live tweet, live blog from inside there. It was an Arizona state first. It has never happened in the history of our state, but maybe perhaps it shows the changing times in our court proceedings.
Absolutely.